Ever feel like, when you're looking for relationship advice and it's always just like these vague sayings,
Hmm.
like communication is key. Okay, but how?
Right.
So today we're diving into some surprisingly practical tips for keeping those relationships strong.
Yeah, these go way beyond just, be more romantic.
Exactly. And we're going to break down why they work, what's actually going
The
on.
science behind it.
Yes.
Okay.
So tip number one is all about prioritizing intimacy.
Oh,
And I know what you might be thinking, but
uh-huh.
before anyone skips ahead, we're talking about intimacy in all its forms.
Yeah, it's more than just the physical stuff. It's
Exactly.
emotional closeness, too.
So what does that look like day to day? What are we talking about here?
It's the little things, holding hands while you walk, taking time to really listen when your partner's telling you about their day,
Mm.
even just cuddling on the couch. These things release hormones like oxytocin, which is huge for bonding.
Interesting. So it's not just that it feels good in the moment, it's actually like a biological
It has a
uh,
real impact.
impact.
It
Yeah.
can even reduce stress.
Wow. So we should be thinking about intimacy less as a luxury and more of like a necessity almost.
Exactly.
Huh. Okay, so that leads perfectly into tip number two, which is to keep dating each other,
Yes.
which again, it sounds simple
It's
and
so important.
it's so important.
Mm.
So why is it so crucial to schedule in that couple time?
Well, our brains crave novelty. Think about the early stages of a
Heck,
relationship.
everything's new and exciting.
Exactly. You get that rush of dopamine, those feel-good chemicals just from being around each other. But over time,
Our brains kind of like get used to it.
we habituate. The routine takes over.
The honeymoon phase fades.
Yeah.
So how do we combat that? How do we get that spark back?
You've got to keep things fresh, introduce novelty. Date nights don't have to be fancy,
Okay, good, because,
just something different.
life gets in the way.
Exactly. Go for a hike somewhere new, volunteer together.
Oh, I like that.
Even just recreating your first date can be really powerful.
It's like you're reminding your brain, hey, remember why we fell in love?
Exactly. Bringing back that playfulness, that sense of discovery.
I love that. Okay, so tip number three is all about surprises,
Ooh, fun.
which again doesn't have to be this big grand gesture.
Right, right.
It can just be about noticing the little things,
Yeah.
Like my partner loves when I remember to grab his favorite coffee order, even though I think it's kind of gross.
And it means so much to him,
What's
right?
that way?
Because it shows you're paying attention.
Yeah, it's like that little extra effort, that thoughtfulness.
Exactly. And those small gestures tap into the psychology of gratitude. Those positive feelings start building, strengthening your connection.
Hmm. Okay, so our next tip, tip number four, this one can be a little trickier. We're talking about communicating your desires.
Okay.
And I don't just mean what you want for dinner. This is about being open about your deeper needs, desires.
The more vulnerable stuff.
Exactly. Which, understandably, can be a little scary for people.
It requires trust and emotional safety. But here's the thing, vulnerability is the key to unlocking deeper intimacy.
Interesting. So how do you even begin to have these conversations, especially if you're not used to it?
You start small. Instead of launching into a big reveal, try expressing a small desire.
Okay.
See how your partner responds. And remember, listening is just as important as talking.
It's a two-way street.
Exactly. Make sure you're hearing and validating your partner's needs as well.
It's about creating that safe space for both of you to be open. And finally, tip number five, try new things together.
Yes. Break out of that routine.
It's so easy to get stuck in a rut. I hear from couples all the time who are in that place of feeling stagnant, like they've stopped growing together.
Absolutely. Because when you stop experiencing new things together, you stop learning new things about each other.
So what's the solution?
Keep things interesting, travel, pick up a new hobby, or even just explore a new part of town.
It's about creating new memories, right? New inside jokes.
Exactly. You're building a richer, more dynamic relationship.
So those are our 5 tips for breathing new life into your relationship. What's amazing is that they all have this really solid scientific backing.
We're not just talking about vague advice here. This is about understanding how your brain works.
Yes. So which of these tips resonated with you the most? And more importantly, what's one small action you can take today to start putting it into practice? Let us know. Until next time, happy diving.